up? It's Madison and welcome to It's My Mad Life. So this week I'm going to be sharing with you some tips that I like to use for quick changes when it comes to my dance recitals and performances. Now the reason why I'm doing this is about 2 or 3 years ago I did an entire month of dance videos and you guys really seemed to like it, and I wanted to make some more dance videos for you guys, seeing as I've been dancing for the 23 out of the 25 years of my life so far. So without further ado, here are some tips on quick changes. The first thing that you really have to consider when it comes to quick changes is how comfortable are you? And when I say this, I mean, are you going to be wearing a nude leotard, a dance bra, and some trunks? Or are you just going to wear trunks and go commando up top? Because depending on where you go, what costumes you're wearing, and the situation of your performance space, this can be very critical. I know for me in my dance studio at home, wearing a nude leotard or wearing a dance bra and some trunks are preferable because there are men that will be coming in, there's parents, so fathers that might be passing through who are picking up their children, or the guys who are running the backstage stuff, or even some of the boy dancers that are in the show. You really just have to make sure that you're covered up because you don't want, you know, these guys seeing what your body looks like. That's something for you. I know for me, if I was with my friends, I didn't care because, you know, we're all girls, we all have the same body parts. There's no surprises, there's no differences. But when there are guys around, you have to be a little bit more careful and decide how you want to approach that situation. But in a situation for me, such as college, or when I was at my all ballet school, we were doing the Nutcracker, you don't really have time sometimes to be wearing a nude leotard, and sometimes your costume may not elicit you to have a nude leotard underneath it, and you kind of just have to work with it, and you just have to buck it up and change because it's just what needs to be done because the changes are so fast. So first things first, tip number 1, decide what you're gonna do about everything underneath. Nude leotard, the bra and the trunks, or just the trunks, but it's totally up to you and you have to pick what you are comfortable with. So find your comfort level, and as you get older, you can work your way up, or you can stick with the same thing, or you could do a combination of things, which is definitely what I do depending on the situation. So first, figure out your comfort level about changing in front of other people and how you're gonna deal with that. Tip number 2, tights, which is everybody's worst nightmare when it comes to quick changes, is how am I gonna get my tights on and off? And in this amount of time, and there's so much stuff and you're so sweaty, right? And your legs are sticky because you're dancing so much, and then you're sweating even more because you're running around and you have to change and everything, and it's just a hectic situation and crazy. Well, this tip is exactly what you need. If you haven't learned this already, this is going to be something that I think you're going to put in your back pocket and take with you everywhere you go, because it is one of the best things I've ever learned and started putting into my practice of quick changes, and that is laying your tights over the other. And what I mean by this is, say you have a ballet dance and then you have like a modern dance where you need to wear nude tights, or then a tap dance, and you're like, how am I going to switch all of these? Well, like I said, putting on tights, for those of us who know, when you're sweaty is the worst thing in the entire world. So you keep one pair of tights on the whole time. I tend to put my pink tights on the bottom because they're the closest to your skin tone, at least for me, when it comes to changing. Or when it comes to like being my skin tone, and so I keep my pink tights as my base layer, and then instead of taking off my tights and putting new tights on, which is a pain, you just take the next pair of tights that you need and you stick them over top of those pink tights, and they will not show through your nude tights or your black tights. And it is probably the easiest thing ever because your legs are not sticky from sweat, And because you're wearing tights, it just slides right on. It's not this nice gliding feature. Slides right on, slides right off, and you don't have to worry about that sweat and the frustration of having a really hard time of getting those tights on. Tip number 3 has to do with our hair. So, unless you go to one of those studios where your hair is in the same exact hairstyle for the whole show, some people I know their dance studios, no matter what the style is, their hair's in a bun just because it needs to be. But at my studio growing up, our hair has always been different. And one of the things that I've learned throughout the years that I find really helpful is you start your hair off half up, half down. Because if you have a dance where your hair needs to be half up, half down, you have to have that ready. And that sometimes can be a really big pain to try to put your hair in half up, half down in a quick amount of time. Then, when you have to put your hair in a ponytail, you keep your half up, half down there. You just pick up the rest of your hair and put your hair in a ponytail, right? Super simple. It's something that I don't think you would normally think about, but when you hear it, you're like, why didn't I think of that before? It's just a super simple way to keep your hair in the half up, half down, but be able to get it into the ponytail. Now, I think everybody's gonna see where I'm going with this now, but from the half up, half down to the ponytail, you can go into a bun. Just that simple, right? So you have one hairstyle that's your base. Same thing with like the tights. You have your half up, half down, which is your base. Then you can add on the ponytail and then the bun, whatever you need. And best thing to do with hair, have everything laid out where it needs to be, and don't have it all bundled up together, because you're gonna be frantically trying to put everything in your hair, and if you're neatly organized, then you won't have any problems and your life would be made a lot easier. And who doesn't like an easier life when it comes to quick changing? I don't know about you, but I know I do. Tip number 4, when it comes to shoes, same thing. Keep those shoes organized, lined up. If you're having to take shoes off and put new shoes on, get help, right? And that is where tip number 5 comes in. There have been people at your studio, teachers, fellow students, that have been in your situation before. Don't be afraid to reach out and say, hey, I need help. And sometimes if you can have 2 or 3 people on you while you're quick changing, that's the best option. One person to help you with your shoes, one person to help you with your hair, and one person to help you with your costume. Okay? Just get help. More people that can help, the easier it'll be. So when I'm talking about those shoes, if you need to get your shoes untied, you stand there while you or somebody else is doing your hair, and then you have 1 or 2 people taking your shoes off and helping you figure that out. Once your hair's done, costume off, costume on, new shoes on, somebody else is tying your shoes, and then you go. As simple as that. Have friends to help you there. And my last tip, tip number 6, is if you are like my studio, we have 5 shows in one day with an hour in between. Reset your costumes every single time. Have a location that is close to the stage, so you're not running back to that dressing room to change and then you have to run all the way back. If you have a location that's right next to the stage and you have easy access, it's gonna make your life a lot easier. And reset everything in that hour. Just take that time, rest up, make sure that all of your costumes are where they need to be. You have the correct headpieces, the tights, everything like laid out on those costumes, so when it comes time to do those changes, you're not fumbling around trying to find everything that you need. It'll be in its correct spot at all times. But that is it for this week's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed those 6 tips on quick changes. If you have any other tips that maybe I didn't touch on and you think could help somebody out there, please leave them down below. I know I'm always looking for helpful quick changing tips, and I think somebody might have a problem that I didn't touch on. And if you do have a problem that maybe I didn't touch on, comment down below and maybe I could help. Also, if you liked this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and go down below and click that subscribe button. I am planning on making a lot more dance videos for you guys in the near future. My school year is rounding up and I'm going to be graduated, which is really exciting, and so I'll have a lot more time to put in to my videos and making some awesome tip and helpful videos for you guys. So if you have any video suggestions, let me know as well. I would love to hopefully be able to try to film them for you. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. I will see you guys the next time that I see you. Embrace your messy hair and your sweatpants, which my hair's not messy and I'm not wearing sweatpants today, but who cares? And peace out, Mad Scouts. Bye!